Everyone's worried about what this monoculture that Pauline Hanson is talking about. We already know what it is. It's Judeo Christian society. What does she mean by Judeo Christian society? Well, one side of it is for Christians and the other side is for Jews. And there's obviously Jewish homeland there, there's a Jewish homeland there, there's a Jewish homeland in the Kimberley, there's a Jewish homeland in Hobart. That's what she means, and an eventual takeover of Australia. We know about the borders that are created for them around Sydney City, that, these are their home. This is considered their homeland because if they're not in their home, they're not allowed to carry their children. But when they walk outside, now they can now it's their home. So obviously you consider it to be your home. These borders of this Urav, which they call their state, they have their own security group. And this security group can give you reports on suspicious activity. So instead of calling the police, they actually call the security who have guns. So security guards with guns. And by the way, the only people in Australia who are allowed guns or security group other than those who work for the bank, who is also owned by that same group. This zone that is not called a Jewish homeland, they have their own ambulance called the Hatzolah. They go in and they look after people within that community who are mostly predominantly Jewish, and they are looked after within 3 seconds. Absolutely less than 3 minutes. Sorry, they are looked after. Meanwhile, we call the police, and remember, they're the reason for the funding of our ambulances to be taken away, and our economy, our resources are sent to their organizations so that they can continue making money. Just remind you of that. And now we have to pay for their ambulances, not our ambulances, their ambulances. They say, oh, we pay for it ourselves. Well, how are you getting money other than from our government? Don't forget, communities who are aligned with the AGA, which is Israeli's propaganda piece here in Australia, can get funds. And all those Jewish community things are funded by them. And the funny thing is that Michael West Media say is once it goes to AGA, we don't know what it's going on with that money. They could be spending it on, whatever they want, and we don't know. And we don't know. Is it for the security of Jewish people? Because a couple of months ago, we realized they're not really that secured. We've given you guns, we've given you whatever you need, and you're still unable to protect yourselves. Obviously, the problem is it's our government that's supposed to protect you, like our government protects us. Hospitals, they have their own Jewish schools, they have their own police, they have their own ambulance, they have lines to defend their areas, which in their religious identity says that they are not allowed to carry kids unless it's at home or within this line, which then makes that whole territory our home. Is that the Judeo-Christian values that we understand? Because, there hasn't been a Christian church, a church built there since like 1940s. Also, there's not a single mosque in that whole territory where those Urav are. Not a single mosque. Meanwhile, you're like everyone else around us, by the way, are living with mosques nearby and whatever and having to deal with multiculturalism, yet they don't have to deal with that at all. At all, because there is 0 mosques in all those territories, and yet it's not called a state within a state. Don't forget about their courts. They have their own court system, which they put precedence to our courts, our Australian courts. They put precedence to their courts over our courts, our Australian courts. I'm just saying, what is left for it to... Why can't we just declare it a state? Why can't we just declare it an open state or an independent zone within Australian territory that belongs to them, that was promised to them long time ago?